Hello, how are you guys doing today? This is Brayton, and today's video is going to be going over SARMs and PED use, and do 5-AR inhibitors like finasteride or dutasteride still work the same in the mechanism of action when it comes to stopping hair loss, or thinning of the hair, all the, good stuff you could say there, because we all know that some SARMs and, PEDs, the special supplements, can cause hair loss or premature, androgenic alopecia, male pattern baldness here. So, we're going to go over some treatments today and some, kind of the mechanism of action here and the science behind if, something like a finasteride or dutasteride will halt or stop hair loss in, a SARM use or, PED use. So anyways, we're gonna hop right in today. So what even are SARMs and PEDs? So, of course, PEDs, we know them as, performance enhancing. So SARMs technically fall into that category here, so it's not like, I just wanted to not say anabolic. Pretty sure like it's not good for the algorithm, but yes, pretty much they are performance enhancers. Same with SARMs, they a lot of them are performance enhancers, so better than your normal production here of normal testosterone and hormones. So they can make you work out harder, put on more muscle, just endurance longer, and etc. But so SARMs stand for selective androgen receptor modulators. So they were kind of designed to be selective. So when it comes to putting on more muscle to stop muscle loss with certain diseases, bone integrity as well. But obviously they have androgenic side effects, sadly. So they're not what they say they are, kind of. So obviously we're just going to talk about the receding of the hairline for today when it comes to the side effects. So a lot of SARMs have been shown to cause premature hair loss or androgenic alopecia here, male pattern baldness, and that's the same with anabolic steroids. A lot of them cause male pattern baldness as well. So those are kind of like the main side effects we're going to get into today, and just kind of run down really what SARMs are. They are research chemicals. They're sold, at vitamin shops and etc. You can definitely get them. So we're just kind of go over some SARMs today, and do things like finasteride or dutasteride really do affect, SARMs, and will it work the same mechanism here? So short answer here, no. So finasteride and dutasteride will not affect SARMs when it comes to, if you're taking a SARM, finasteride or dutasteride will not stop the hair loss here. And the reason why is, well, through finasteride and dutasteride, they cut off the 5-alpha reductase enzyme here, while things like SARMs have their own metabolites, and they are binding to the androgen receptor not through 5-AR, so they are not dihydrotestosterone. So they are still causing androgenic effects in, the hair follicle, and things like the 5-AR enzyme really have nothing to do with, the SARM and their metabolites and how it causes androgenic effects in the hair follicle. So sadly, yes, finasteride and dutasteride will not do anything when you are on a SARM. Certain like RAD140, for example, is a popular SARM that is probably the most androgenic causing side effect here. It seems to cause a lot of hair loss or androgenic alopecia, and a lot of anecdotes when it comes to and I think actually some studies as well, it causes hair loss prematurely. That's like a prime example here. I know most SARMs are not as bad when it comes to hair loss as most PED or androgenic steroids here, or anabolic steroids here, and things like RAD140, so things like LGD 4033, Osterine. It's just like some things that run off the top of the head. There's plenty of SARMs out there, but SARMs like that, they are still going to cause hair loss, and they are still going to cause miniaturization of the hair follicle, and something like a finasteride or dutasteride will not stop hair loss in this aspect. And so yes, so that means a lot of PEDs as well. So anabolic steroids, I keep saying PEDs, they all lump together, but yes, unless your PED that you're on is testosterone itself, finasteride or dutasteride will not affect any other, steroids. So there are like obviously different categories of steroids here. There are like the testosterone bases, the nandrolone bases or 19-nortestosterone bases, and the dihydrotestosterone bases here. And so we have testosterone here, and we're gonna have a list of like different derivative forms of anabolic steroids when it comes to testosterone base. Things like 5-AR inhibitors like finasteride and dutasteride will work for something like testosterone, but not obviously its derivatives. But at the end of the day, you're still going to realize, even if you're on like a high dose of dutasteride, the testosterone that you're injecting is still super physiological. So it's higher, and it's still going to be maintained at a higher level than your normal production. So you're still going to have a super physiological amount of dihydrotestosterone conversion. Even still, if you're crushed completely, you still might experience hair loss. Of course, very mitigated compared to, if you weren't on a 5-hour inhibitor. It's still, things like finasteride, dutasteride will work, but there's still a chance that you might have androgenic alopecia. I just want to throw that out there real quick. But anyways, then we have 19-nortestosterone here, or nandrolone, we can call it there. Now, some of the derivatives, for example, we all know and love, trenbolone, for example, is extremely destroys your hair. So that is not hair safe whatsoever. But things like nandrolone itself is actually very hair safe. It's actually more hair safe than your natural production of dihydrotestosterone and testosterone. We kind of know it as DECA, or that's kind of like a popular name for it when it comes to nandrolone. But that is hair safe. So it actually is metabolites are actually good for the hair. So that's like a fun fact as well. But most of the 19-or derivatives are not very hair safe, as you can tell by something like trenbolone. We have dihydrotestosterone derivatives, and all I'm just going to say here, they are not hair safe. They'll probably destroy your hair faster than anything else on here, except for something like Mastron, or, it's not safe there, but I just wanted to make this list, So some PEDs actually can be hair safe, obviously, from the nandrolone example there. That is a hair safe PED, but at the end of the day here, not all of these anabolics and or SARMs are the same when it comes to mechanism of action and how they're actually going to help you with performance here. So obviously when you're on something like nandrolone, which has, obviously, like, it's hair safe, don't worry, but it has plenty of other side effects that are could be actually life-threatening, dangerous. And, obviously, we have SARMs as well that can obviously these things shut down your luteinizing hormone, and they shut down your natural production of hormones themselves when it comes to testosterone, and the conversion to estrogen. A lot of things, your kind of your testes and your, good old reproductive hormones or reproductive organs, my bad, kind of shut down. And because your body's like, hey, we have the SARM or performance-enhancing drug here that kind of takes over everything. So we can kind of shut down. So your pituitary gland is like, hey, we have this drug in us to keep us going here. And obviously, SARMs don't have nearly as much, or PEDs don't really have as much other good effects they have as, your normal production of testosterone and estrogen conversion and all the downstream conversions of, your hormones in your endocrine system. So, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be like, hey, steroids bad and SARMs bad, but realize what you're dealing with here. Hair loss isn't the main concern, but at the end of the day, this is kind of a hair loss video. But yes, there are some SARMs, something like S4 or andrine is hair safe, even though it has the major side effect is like you go blind, I'm pretty sure, or like night blind. It has been shown to seem not very androgenic when it causes actually, male pattern baldness. It might be pretty hair safe when it comes to a SARM that's more hair safe than, your natural production, and obviously nandrolone as well. Those are just kind of two options here that are actually more hair safe than, your natural production and an actual PED that doesn't cause hair loss, because obviously I think like most of them do. But at the end of the day, if you are, I can't stop you from using a SARM if you already set your mind to it, or a PED in general. There are maybe some anecdotal treatments here. Obviously take everything I say here with a grain of salt, and do not follow my recommendations here. So do your own research or consult your doctor on these stuff. So there are things like topical anti-androgens that are also research chemicals that may help with, hair loss in general when it comes to, if you're experiencing hair loss through something like a RAD 140 or, we'll just go with trenbolone because everyone knows trenbolone. Topical anti-androgens like RU58841. That's a good example there, but obviously that is a research chemical, and it was shut down in trials. So it works as in binding to the androgen receptor and stopping from, the androgens to bind to it and cause androgenic effects like hair thinning. But we don't know exactly where it goes when it goes systemically. So RU58841, not completely sure what, this other side effects it may cause on your body. So obviously not a FDA approved treatment for hair loss. And that's the same with pyrolutamide. But obviously recently pyrolutamide has been on the market, I believe. So that's an anti-androgen that kind of works similar to RU58841. It's a anti-androgen at the end of the day, so it's going to work by binding to the androgen receptor before something like your trenbolone's metabolites get there and cause thinning of the hair. So those are things that would work comparatively to a 5-AR inhibitor like finasteride or dutasteride. And so, like, for example, even if you think, hey, a topical dutasteride will help me against the side effects of RAD140's androgenic effect on my hair, no, topical dutasteride will not save you for that, but something like pyrolutamide might. So these are mights here. So because their mechanism of action is different comparatively to 5-AR inhibitors. And maybe in the future, something like GT20029 is a completely different mechanism of action when it comes to topical anti-androgens. It actually destroys the androgen receptor locally. It seems here. It is still in trial, and maybe in the future it will seem to be promising and work pretty well, but we will see here. And that might be a treatment that would work for stopping hair loss completely, even if you are on a PED. So, well, we will see in the future. And then, obviously, you want to do something with minoxidil. So minoxidil is a growth stimulant. It's not a anti-androgen. It's not a 5-AR inhibitor. It will stimulate the hair follicles to grow through, I believe it's a potassium channel opener. We're not completely sure exactly how minoxidil works, but, or science in general, not completely, pinned needle of how minoxidil works, but it's still a growth antagonist here, and it's going to cause hair growth. Typically, topical 5% is what's going to be used here. I wouldn't recommend oral because it obviously will work, but there's some other side effects that may happen if it's orally consumed. And of course, I'm going to maybe throw in ketoconazole as well. It's an anti-androgen that's sold over the counter. That's approved for hair loss, so it's usually ketoconazole shampoos. Maybe something like that will work. Very minuscule. Putting on a shampoo that's an anti-androgen 5 minutes a day. How potent is that going to work for stopping hair loss? Who really knows? But yeah, that's just some things I'm going to throw in as well. But at the end of the day here, yes, finasteride and dutasteride will not stop your hair loss if you are on a SARM and or steroid, anabolic steroid here, unless you are on DECA or the S4 or androgen. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not saying you should not, because these things have lots of other side effects and a lot of other bad things that they can cause. So obviously, I don't recommend SARMs and or anabolic steroids. So, but I can't make up your mind for you and your decisions. So at the end of the day, here, sadly, your finasteride and dutasteride will not save you from the hair loss or the what's called Norwood Reaper. So yes, that's kind of like my video for today and my rambling. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like and leave a comment down below with your experiences, or if I'm forgetting something or something you want to add in your anecdote, or if I've got something wrong and you want to throw in, feel free. I appreciate the comments. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. So bye.